The Sports Renegades podcast on SportsTownChicago.com. All right, welcome back to the Sports Renegades here on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuprich.
And I'm Ryan Risky.
We've been talking baseball for most of the show. We've been previewing the Cubs season first, and then we also talked about who was going to win in the playoffs in the National League, American League, and then we gave our predictions for the World Series. We both have the Cubs repeating. We also gave our AL MVPs and NL MVPs and then Cy Youngs and Rookie of the Years for both leagues. But now we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be talking about the pro franchises in Chicago, the five main ones, and we're going to talk about how they're sort of run and rank who is the best and who is the worst. I guess you can probably guess who the best and worst are, but maybe where they fall in the middle. So let's shall we start off with the good or the bad?
That's tough because it's going to be fun to talk. Let's start with the worst.
Okay, let's start with the worst.
I'm going with the Bulls.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bulls, too. I think the Bulls are clearly, right now, when you look at it, the worst-run organization in Chicago.
Whether it's
pretty clear.
Ownership, the coaching, the front office, everything is just awful.
Right.
And we'll get into that next segment. Next segment
when
ESPN was ranking head coaches and front office executives. So
yeah, when you think about it, I mean they clearly are the worst run organization in Chicago.
So I'm gonna give them a 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10. Okay. Yeah, I'd say 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10 at the highest for sure. For them, because when you look at some of the other teams above them, like the White Sox and Bears, they have a direction that they're going. And the Bulls really have no direction. They're kind of like the Bears of 2 years ago or the White Sox of last year. They kind of have no direction. You have a head coach who is probably better suited for college. A lot of people are really hating him now. I think it was...
People are starting to figure out what you and I knew all along.
Yeah, we didn't like the hire at first. I remember we talked about this. Why are you firing Tibbs and then hiring a coach who couldn't win in the tournament?
Yeah, a guy that is
at Iowa State,
sitting in the regular season at Iowa State, can't win in the playoffs, and then you make him one of the highest paid coaches in the league.
Right. So that, and the worst thing about it is, they had this like in cahoots for like 2 years. Like while Tibbs was still the coach, I remember I think it came out that Fred Hoiberg was flying to and from like during the 2015 playoffs. Like around that time, he was still. He was flying in. He knew that they were going to fire Tibbs, and obviously John Paxson and Gar Forman knew that they were going to fire Tibbs. I guess the only way they weren't going to fire Tom Thibodeau is if they would have won the NBA championship.
I think they still would have fired him because Gar Forman had his feelings
Could you
hurt.
imagine firing somebody who just got a ring? I mean, oh my gosh, that.
I think they would have. I think Gar would have done it just because he didn't like him. I think it was coming out during the season too that they were going to fire him and hire Fred Hoiberg, and that they
it was. I'm like, everything's good. We're like a second seed in the East. Derrick Rose is back to playing pretty well, and Jimmy Butler and his great defense, and they were up. They had a chance to go up 3-1 in that series against the Cavs.
I think they would have won that series had Powell not gotten hurt. I think was it the second game he got injured?
Something like that. It was after the Milwaukee series, so yeah, I think you're right.
I mean, really, they were seconds away from going up 3-1 if LeBron would have missed that circus shot, which that was an incredible shot, by the way.
On Mother's Day, yeah. That was sort of the end. That was the last positive thing to happen for the Bulls, so that Rose buzzer beater the game before.
Yeah, and so, I mean, the thing is, though, it's like, this stems everywhere. Gar doesn't know what he's doing. He refuses to do what's necessary. He's not a good scout. He cannot identify talent. He can't pitch to free agents. I don't know how this guy has a job. And then you go, oh, wait.
I'm not sure how he fell into the general manager's position in 2007.
His wife runs Bulls charities with Michael Reinsdorf's wife, so, he's got the Reinsdorf lifetime pass.
I guess it's because he was maybe in the organization for such a long time, and he just sort of moved through the ranks.
He got promoted in 2005, and I remember I read the article a couple weeks ago, and John Paxson was saying how it was a move that was long overdue. I'm sorry, no, it wasn't. It was 2005 when he got promoted to like the director of player development.
Yeah. In 2007, he became the GM, I believe.
No, I think it was 09 because he wasn't the GM when Rose was drafted.
Really? Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I mean, either way, he can't take credit for that. It was all luck that they ended up getting the first pick anyway in that. So.
Yeah.
But, so that's the Bulls, and we'll talk more about
I'm giving them a 2 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll give them a 3 out of 10. I'll just do that.
Next for me is the White Sox. I'm giving them a 4 now. They've finally headed in a direction.
Yeah, they have. I agree. I think the White Sox are definitely a 4.
Just because they've finally headed in a clear direction doesn't mean they have the right guys in charge.
No.
Kenny Williams should not be the guys foreseeing this rebuild.
I don't hate Rick Hahn. I think he's done an okay job. I think a lot of the things that he wanted to do, he kind of wanted to do this last year. At least so it seems.
It was either him or Williams wanted to do it last year.
It was not Kenny Williams, let me tell you. It was not Kenny Williams.
Yeah.
Any Sox fan will tell you that probably.
And the thing is, Reinsdorf also didn't want to do it either.
No, right, exactly.
And then there was the whole wanting to keep Robin Ventura fiasco. Hahn wanted to keep him. And
did Ventura get fired or did he leave on his own terms?
I don't think anyone is ever going to find out how that really went down unless Robin Ventura flat out says it. Because Hahn and Williams will probably say that he elected to leave. There was that report that if he wanted to return, he was allowed to. It was his decision to come back.
Yeah, I think he made the right decision.
And I think that was Jerry Reinsdorf just didn't want people to think that he got fired.
Right.
And so, then there was the whole Rick Hahn had a meeting with Robin Ventura the night before he was going to announce he was going to step down, and with Hahn begging him to return. And
yeah, there was a lot of bad things going on.
Yeah, so that's the White Sox.
But
and then
they finally blew it up, and now they're starting to build it back up. And I think that's a solid 4.
They did get good pieces. I just don't think they had the right guys in charge to finish it off and to develop the players. We'll see how Rick Renteria does as the manager since he's finally getting an opportunity.
Right. So the team in the middle, I guess for both of us, would be the Chicago Bears.
Absolutely.
Solid 5.
Oh, yeah, 5 or 6, just because you like the job Ryan Pace has done. I don't think John Fox will be the guy when they're winning.
No, not a chance.
Unless, they massively turn it around this year.
Which is possible. I could see 8 wins.
Yeah. The thing
because there's a lot of parity in the NFL.
The thing for me holding the Bears back would be Ted Phillips being in charge. He's been in charge too long. He's not good at his job. He's been the one constant in all of this failure. And he's the guy that forced Ryan Pace to hire John Fox over Dan Quinn.
Right, and that was the
And it needs to be Ryan Pace making all of the decisions, and Ted Phillips doesn't do anything. He focuses on the business operations, and he refuses. He knows nothing about football, and he's one of the reasons why this organization will continue to struggle.
Didn't they raise the prices for tickets this year?
Oh, yeah, they raised the prices, and I read the McCaskey.
After going 3-13, they're going to raise the prices. I can't believe that.
He elected to raise prices, and the McCaskies I think I read they got about $47 million just in a pocket from the Raiders and Chargers moving.
Oh, great.
For allowing them. So they raised ticket prices and then got an additional 30.
So I guess all the
million.
NFL owners got that.
I'm going to assume so because I think it was Brad Biggs tweeted that out.
Well, that's nice. Yeah.
And then they decided to raise ticket prices too.
Yeah. Hey, it's big money.
And then another thing with the whole Ted Phillips thing is, he goes and says they're going to spend all of their salary cap space on free agents, and then when Ryan Pace didn't do that because he didn't want to overpay guys, he looks bad.
Yeah.
Because Ted Phillips promised that. And Ted Phillips doesn't even know what he's doing.
No, he doesn't. That's the problem.
And it makes Ryan Pace look bad, and it helps him save his skin.
Right.
So
those are like the 3 bad ones, and real quickly we'll talk about the 2. Do you have the Cubs as the best run organization, or the Blackhawks?
I'm going with the Cubs at number 2.
Okay, the Cubs at number 2.
I'm giving them an 8 out of 10. Or, I'm sorry, I'll go with 9.
Yeah, I was going to say 9. It should be at least a 9.
Tom Ricketts did a phenomenal job. Once he decided that he needed a new general manager, he got Theo Epstein from the Red Sox, who was still under contract, made sure he got him, and then he just told Theo to do his thing.
Yep.
He let his team president, He let his guy do what he needed to do to turn the organization around. And that's why Jerry Reinsdorf, and that's what Jerry Reinsdorf and the McCaskies are doing wrong. They're not allowing their guys. First of all, you need to have the right guys, which the Reinsdorf does not have in place. They haven't just told them, hire who you want. You can fire anyone you don't think we need, and you're in charge of everything.
Right.
And he let Theo do that, and literally the definition of the 5-year plan, it had happened. They won the World Series.
Right, it was 5 years.
Yeah, the only reason the Cubs are not number one for me is just because the Blackhawks have been really good since 2008, 2009.
Yeah. 2012, 2013, 2014, 15, 16. That's 5 years. It took you 5 years to win the World Series, just like Theo said.
Literally, just like he said.
Literally, just like it. Yeah. So
I mean, and you think, and there were times when it seemed like the rebuild would be never ending.
Right.
It seemed like it would be never ending at times, and literally, like when someone says you're going to rebuild, you don't think that you would think maybe it'll take 5 years to start competing. No, it took them 5 to win the World Series.
Yeah.
And in a couple of years after they win another World Series or two, I think the Cubs will be number one. I'd give them a 10 out of 10. I mean, I think they're 9.5 out of 10 right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
They've won one World Series. And Ricketts let his guys in charge. The Blackhawks, they've won 3 cups since 2010.
Yeah.
They've made the playoffs every year since, I believe it was 08-09.
Yes.
Was when they lost in the conference finals to Detroit.
Yep.
They've been really good every year. They've been fun to watch. They've lost in the conference finals twice, and winning the Stanley Cup 3 times. They lost in the conference finals twice. And then they've had some first-round exits in really close series. 2 of them went 7 games, 1 went 6. And you got to figure they're positioned to make another deep run this year. The team is playing much better than they had at any point last year. You got to figure they'll win a few playoff series, and who knows, maybe they can win number 4.
I agree, and hopefully they do.
And I'd give them 10 out of 10. Just they're doing everything right.
I agree, but at this point, I think the Hawks and Cubs are both 10 out of 10. I don't know if there's another city with 2 teams that are as well run and as well accomplished as the Cubs and Blackhawks are right now.
Yeah, Boston. You got the Patriots.
True.
Yeah, I mean, every team is good in Boston.
Damn Boston. I forgot about Boston.
Every team is good.
And even their hockey team made it to the Stanley Cup in 2013 and lost to the Hawks.
And then they won it in 2011.
Yeah. That's right. I forgot about the
Patriots.
Boston.
Are the Patriots. The Red Sox are good. The Celtics are really good. They've got a great coach.
I think the Celtics might beat the Cavs this year. I really do. And I hope I'm right about it.
I mean, the Cubs, you could give them 10 out of 10 too. I mean, this is just me throwing numbers out there. Regardless, they're one of the most well-run organizations in professional sports.
For sure.
I guess I'll go ahead and give them a 10. They did the impossible. They won the World Series. Both them and the Hawks are just so well run now. They're fun to watch, and you really are excited for the coming season. So I'm excited for the Stanley Cup playoffs this year, and I'm excited to see the Cubs defend their title.
Yeah, me too. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back for our final segment here on SportsTownChicago.com, Sports Renegades. The Sports Renegades podcast on SportsTownChicago.com.